Hello guys, welcome again to the channel. It's lovely to have you back on my channel today, and I'm going to be showing you how to create the asymmetric yoke, or one-sided yoke, or slanted yoke, whichever you want to call it. If you're new to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much for joining me again in today's video. I've just transferred my bodice pattern and I had to make it on both sides. Okay, so this is our center front. Originally we just drafted a quarter of the bodice, so I just created the other side as well so that we can have it spread the complete front pattern to create the yoke. Okay, so right here I have my bust line, and this is my shoulder slant or shoulder line. This is the center front line. Okay, and this is my waistline. Now to create this yoke, I've also marked my armhole on that point, and this is the original neckline from the bodice pattern. Okay, but for this project we're going to modify that to create the yoke. Okay, so now what I want to do here is from my shoulder line, the edge of the shoulder line, we'll just measure 1 inch. Okay, and from our midpoint of the center front, we're going to measure downwards. Now the depth of our neckline will be 3 inches, so I'm going to just mark that here, and the depth of the actual neckline. Okay, so the yoke at the top, this will be the neckline, and the point where the yoke will join to our main dress is going to be 8 inches. Just modify this to suit your preference. Okay, you don't have to make it deep like mine, just work with what you want. Now from this 1 inch point that we have here, we want to create a straight line to join with our 8 inches. Okay, so that's one part done. Then on the over bust, okay, so we have to derive as well where we want our over bust to be, as in the point where you want your dress to cover up to. That's what I mean by over bust. Now, so from the shoulder line, we have to measure 6 inches downwards. Okay, you can make it more or less. Okay, I'm just working with 6 inches. That's exactly where I want it to be. Now we need to measure our bust span, and for this project is 9 inches, so I'm just going to divide that by 2, which is 4.5. I'll place my 4.5 at the center front, and I'm going to mark on both sides. Okay, so that's my 9 inches marked on both sides. We'll do same on the waistline. Then we're going to do same at the over bust as well. This will help us link up the points, and it will just guide us generally on where we want to mark what. Okay, so I just marked my 9 inches there, link up all the dots. So to create our dart, from our bust line, we just measure 1 inch downwards. Then we'll measure ½ inch on both sides of our waistline. So from our center front line, that V we marked there, we're going to now measure, create a curve to our over bust and all the way to the armhole. So we're simply creating our sweetheart neckline. So once you've done that, you now create the neckline for the top bit of the yoke. You will have to add your 1/2 inch seam allowance on the yoke, as well as adding it on the bodies. Okay, so you can add this when you've traced out the yoke. Now on the bodies, we just complete off the body by just measuring your bust circumference divided by 2. Okay, bust circumference here is 40 inches divided by 2, that's 20. Just make sure your 10, which is 1/4, is at the middle. So place that at the center front, and you're going to mark your 20 inches on the bust line. Then on the waistline as well, you measure your waist circumference, which is 36 inches, divided by 2 is 18 inches. Now you want to place your 18 here. So the 9 should be at the center front, and you place your 18. Remember, you took 2 inches for your dart. That's 1 on each side. So that's 18 plus 2 is 20 inches. So link the dots. Then you can go ahead and add your seam allowance. Add 1 inch on the sides and 1/2 inch at the top of your yoke. Cut out your pattern. So I have just cut on the exact point where I marked. Now when you're cutting on fabric, just remember to add your 1/2 inch all round. Okay, that will be your seam allowance. So now let's go straight and cut on fabric. Just cut everything out on fabric and I'm sewing already. Okay, so what you need to cut is the lining. I cut 2 pieces of the lining, okay, because I want to conceal the seam of the yoke. Just because it's a lace fabric, if you're working with a fabric that is not transparent, like that is not see-through like my lace, you don't need to cut 2 pieces of the lining. Okay, so that's my lining. That's the first piece, and that's the second piece. The second piece of the lining. and the lace as well. So once you've cut this, you go ahead and sew your darts. Now the modification I did on the dart is instead of a normal dart, I had to extend to the armhole to create a princess dart. Okay, but if you want a standard way of creating princess darts, I have the video already on my channel. I will link that in description so that you can know how to create a princess dart as well. Okay, but I just marked that all the way from the bust point and into the armhole. You can just extend by 1 inch on the armhole so that you can capture the armhole darts when you're cutting on fabric. That's all it is. Okay, so I'll just sew this dart. Just start from there, hold it and sew all the way to the armhole, just the way I've done here. I've completed this one as this one. Okay, so that's it. Do the same on the other side. Then you're going to attach the yoke. Okay, so sew on the yoke, and before you sew the yoke, you have to pin it up. Let me just show you how to pin the yoke. Okay, so first you need to align this sharp point, the sweetheart point. Just make sure you align it. Once you get it right, every other part will fall in place. So pin that sharp point onto the sharp point of your main fabric and hold that in place. Okay, then you're going to now gradually face your yoke. So first it that way, and you're going to also pin. Okay, so extend that. So that's the yoke. So when you pin that, you're going to also place the second lining on it. Okay, you place the second lining. The most important place to align will be this sharp point. So align it and pin. Then you're going to also follow the same pattern like that. Okay, you can remove the pin you have inside and replace at the top like that. Okay, you follow that same pattern until you have reached. So you do the dart as well on this lining. Okay, so that's the space for the dart. Follow that until you've reached the armhole. So basically you follow the same pattern until you get to that shoulder as well. Then you're going to just sew on that edge. Just sew it from the armhole to the shoulder on that part. So that's what it will look like when you've sewn it. Now to finish off the neckline, you just cut a certain piece in bias form, or you get your bias binding. Cutting it in bias form makes it a bit elastic, so it relaxes and goes around the curve nicely. Once this is done, you just finish off your bodice, and that's how you do the slanted yoke. It's very easy. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate your time. Kindly subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. Turn on the notification bell. Share this video with your friends. Drop me a comment if you have any questions or suggestions, and I'll be happy to respond as quickly as I can. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.